Being a world-renowned footballer guarantees a luxurious lifestyle that most people can only dream of. They live in top-notch houses surrounded by high-level security. However, this very status makes football players prime targets for gangsters looking for someone to exploit. In this video, we're going to explore 5 football players whose lives were ruined by gangsters, or in some cases, who chose to align themselves with the underworld, blurring the lines between victim and accomplice. Angel Di Maria is one of the most successful Argentine players of all time, but it's apparent that his best days are behind him. As his career winds down, Di Maria naturally wants to give back to football and help those who helped make him a superstar. His plan for his final seasons included joining Benfica and then returning to Argentina to play for his boyhood club, Rosario Central. It would have been a dream return, a journey back to his roots. However, the local gangsters had other plans. Rosario is currently overrun with drug dealers who are keen to maintain control and expand their business. Di Maria's return would have likely brought increased police presence and scrutiny, threatening their operations. To prevent this, the gangsters sent multiple threats to Di Maria's family, including a package with a pig's head pierced by a bullet, and a note that read if Di Maria returned to Rosario Central, the next head would be that of his daughter Pia. Given the deadly reputation of South American cartels, it's unlikely we'll see Angel return to Argentina anytime soon. But crime isn't exclusive to South America. It can happen anywhere and can even be perpetrated by those closest to you. Unfortunately, this was the case for Paul Pogba, who faced more than just empty threats. The trouble began in March 2022 when Pogba was lured into a meeting with all friends in his hometown of Roissy-en-Brie. What seemed like a casual gathering quickly turned into a nightmare when Pogba was held at gunpoint by masked men who demanded 13 million euros, claiming they had been protecting him throughout his career. But in reality, this so-called protection was just a thinly veiled attempt at extortion. The masterminds behind this scheme were some of Pogba's closest friends, including his unsuccessful brother Matias Pogba. Allegedly, Matias even tried to convince their mother to pressure Paul into paying, and when he refused, Matias released videos publicly shaming his younger brother. In these videos, he accused Paul of stepping over anyone for power and fame, claimed he owed large sums of money to unknown creditors, and perhaps most shockingly, alleged that Paul hired the witch doctor to curse Kylian Mbappe. Although 4 of the 5 men who kidnapped them were eventually convicted, the impact on Pogba's career has been significant. Pogba's reputation took a massive hit. If some people still took him seriously after the witchcraft allegations, his doping case turned almost everyone against him. Yet, after all was said and done, Pogba walked out of the situation alive. The same can't be said for Andres Escobar. On June 22, 1994, Escobar scored a known goal in that year's World Cup, sealing Colombia's elimination. 10 days later, back in his home country, Escobar was at a nightclub in Medellin when he was repeatedly taunted by a group of men, including Pedro and Santiago Gallon, who were known to have connections to criminal activities. The harassment would continue outside the club, where Escobar again confronted the group, asking for respect. Santiago Gallon allegedly threatened him, saying that he didn't know who he was talking to. Shortly after, the Gallon brothers' driver, Humberto Muñoz Castro, shot Escobar 6 times, leading to his death. Despite clear evidence of the murder, Muñoz was released after serving only 12 years in prison. The Gallon brothers were believed to have played a significant role in instigating the crime, received much lighter sentences for lesser charges, and did not face severe consequences. That just goes to show the power that criminal organizations hold in South America and how easily they can end a life. But even when criminals are supposedly on your side, they'll eventually cause your downfall. Diego Maradona, for example, had close ties to the Neapolitan mafia, and some say they were the reason the modest Napoli could afford his transfer. This relationship with the mafia allowed them to be protected in public while indulging in regular hookups with prostitutes and hard drugs provided by the notorious Camorra crew. Of course, he wasn't killed, extorted, or even threatened, and at the end of the day, Maradona was responsible for his downfall. However, his vices, which cost him his career and decades of his life, were exacerbated during his stay in Italy. If Maradona had been surrounded by people who genuinely cared about him and provided him with what he needed instead of what he wanted, his legacy might have been much greater than what it is today. So far, we've discussed players whose lives were ruined by criminal organizations. However, the last player in this video, Quincy Promes, is unique because he was the mastermind of his own criminal empire. At the time I'm making this video, the 50-time Dutch international is considered a fugitive in his own country after being sentenced to 6 years in prison for running a drug trafficking operation. The charges indicate that while Promes didn't get his hands dirty, he played a crucial role in smuggling 1,360 kilograms of cocaine from Brazil to the Netherlands through the port of Antwerp in Belgium in 2020. Additionally, he was found guilty of stabbing his cousin in the leg, earning him an extra 18 months in jail. It's hard to believe that this promising winger would become a convicted criminal in his early 30s. It's unfathomable to me why someone would risk everything when they already had a life most people can only dream of. But that's a dark side of fame. Just like Maradona had his vices, Quincy had his own insatiable thirst for power. And unfortunately, the only way he could satisfy it was through crime. At first sight, the fame and fortune that accompany a footballer's career may seem like a dream with barely any downsides. You gift your close ones a better life, you attract women that you never even dreamed of, and gain powerful connections that can help you when it's all said and done. But at the same time, you also become a prime target for people who will trap you in a nightmare from which there is almost no escape. But tell me, do you know about other players whose lives got affected by crime? If you do, let me know in the comments, as I always go through every single one of them. Like this video if you want me to make more content like this, and subscribe to Thorn FC for the best man-made football content on YouTube. As always, thanks for staying with me until the end, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.